And these gods themselves come out of the mixing bowl in order to create the palpable cosmos that we know and see. And by the way, the Greek word for a mixing bowl is actually crater. In the ancient Greek world, a crater or mixing bowl was used to mix water and wine, which can then be poured as a libation to the gods. Also, the ancient Greeks always drank wine mixed with water in a mixing bowl. They rarely, if ever, drank wine on its own. Now, alongside this, there's a very old image, a symbol, if you like, that's called the Ouroboros. This is a symbol of eternity and life, and it takes the form of a serpent that swallows its own tail. The earliest known example of the Ouroboros was found in Tutankhamun's tomb. It also occurs in the Book of Kells. It appears in Ireland among the Vikings, among the ancient Greeks, Indians and Chinese, as well as many other civilizations. Then in Ireland as well, the serpent has also appeared as serpent's rocks, of which there are many examples. These occur most often in Lough Derg in County Donegal, but they occur in other places as well. Legend has it that the living serpent was turned to stone, either by the Fianna or in a later version of the tale by St. Patrick when he conquered Cora, the Celtic goddess of snakes, in a great battle in Lough Derg. The death of Cora turned the lake red, hence Lough Derg. Now, in the pamphlet which is down here, which for all the people who come tonight, you can have a copy, please, of free gratis for yourselves. And the text, some of which I'm going to read here, but it's much more longer inside there. So in the pamphlet that I have here, a serpent's rock actually wakes up and speaks to us. And what it says is actually the cosmology of Proctus. And I'm going to read some excerpts from the pamphlet here. Okay, the serpent's rock lies in a gorge between two cliffs. It is black and undulating and almost brutal. It is completely alien to the other rocks that surround it. It is like a shadow that seems to come from the sea and embed itself in the earth, nuzzling in as if to hide itself away and sleep, but its back protrudes, sticking upwards. It is an alien and quite disturbing sight. It shuns the sun, it seems. The sea just touches against it, washing its farthest edge as it rises upwards before it, then goes deep into the earth itself. It burrows in fact, its scales are huge and its undulations rise upwards. But all the same, it is softer than all the other rocks around it. Those other rocks seems to be spread back, pushed away to allow the serpent to dig in, to rest. Touch the serpent's back and it is calming to the hand. There's no resistance from it, no pulse, no shiver. It simply is. But it certainly undulates, though there are creases in it too. There are fine lines across it like wrinkles. Are these the wrinkles of age? This rock is very old. Does it hide a skeleton or muscle underneath its outer skin? Or is it only rock, a blessed rock, black and dour? When it dug itself in, it spread shards of other rocks about the place, especially where its head should be. Is the head deep beneath the rocks, hidden and inarticulate? I see that it's separated from the rocks around it. It isn't itself of the cliff or of the earth. It's most definitely from another place, and it has come here to hide or sleep. Has its sleep turned it darker than everything around it? I follow the serpent with my eyes until it drops down into the sea. It doesn't extend outwards and farther into the sea. No, at the edge of the ocean it goes straight down, deep down within the earth, or looked at alternatively, it comes up from down there, up out of the earth, into view, only to return again further inland when it is away from the ocean. There it goes back into the earth. The serpent's rock lodges itself in the depths of the earth, and it shows only its undulating back. All the rest is forgotten, lost, ineffable. It exists despite us, who look at it, and even scrape away a little bit of its skin, its scales. The rock we scrape away becomes a black dust through grinding. This over months and months of grinding work. Eventually it is the colour of pitch, though at first it is a grey mixture, but as it lays for the mixing bowl, it turns blacker than death. Burned by apple wood, it seeks to find itself as it lays. It is heated again as it once was when it was hot, millions, maybe billions of years ago. Its dust is initially chalky and grey, a powder burned eventually into a blackened goo. It is ready for the mixing bowl. It is latent and blatant and stark. It is wholly expressive of its frowning, darkened look. Now the serpent's rock has been silent for millions of years, but has now decided to speak. Hearken to its mouldy voice. It has something very old to say, and its words are dense and difficult. These are words that should never be spoken, and so I'll use other words. Words like the craftsman, the mixing bowl, chaos, the young gods, and souls, to describe what the serpent says. These words are only the rudiments of the serpent's speech. I'm going to change my voice into the serpent, if I may. The craftsman builds souls out of existing material, and then the souls create the cosmos through motion. Creation happens in a mixing bowl. But before any of this, before all the other souls are created, there is the world soul, which is built by the craftsman outside the mixing bowl. The world soul is built first, and then the other souls. This is the proper order of things. All the other souls are built in the mixing bowl. Of these souls, the divine souls stay in the mixing bowl after creation, but the mortal souls leave the bowl. The mixing bowl is the receptacle for being, becoming, and space. It is a medium that holds reflections like a mirror holds images. In fact, the mixing bowl is the womb of space, and it is space. Space is known by a kind of bastard reasoning and is barely an object of belief. The only thing permanent and unchanging in the mixing bowl is the mixing bowl itself. Inside the bowl there is flux, and the mixing bowl itself does not possess any of the qualities that appear in it. Such qualities pass in and out of the mixing bowl, and the bowl partakes of those qualities in a mysterious and puzzling way. The mixing bowl takes hold of the hands of the craftsman and teases and forces these hands in a given and necessary direction. It seems as if the craftsman's hands are being dictated to by space. This is when the craftsman is the creator, the artificer, the imposer of order, and the manufacturer. The craftsman organizes matter, but he creates by thinking. For the craftsman, the objects of thought are visible, just like sense objects are visible to human beings. We humans cannot think like this. Our thinking is thinking in a completely different way. Like constructs like and never unlike. And so the craftsman constructs the divine and the material souls, the world soul, the divine souls, and then the young gods. Like constructs like. The divine souls and the young gods are immaterial, but they're multiple. As multiples, the young gods construct mortal souls, which are also multiple. Like constructs like. They also construct a physical world, but the craftsman also turns the attention of the souls towards himself so that he can show them the nature of the whole and the laws of fate, laws that have a necessity that's primeval. The craftsman shows the souls that in constructing the cosmos, he uses mathematics, geometry, and harmonics, the uniting bonds that he uses to generate the cosmos. Before the craftsman took the cosmos in hand, the cosmos was there in the form of chaos. It had a faulty and disorderly motion, the first stirrings of the physical world. But in these stirrings there was an impulse to perfection. There was an incomplete impulse. That is why it was faulty and disorderly. It was incomplete until the craftsman introduced measure and proportion into its blindly surging chaos. The mixing bowl is said to be the fountain of souls, a fountain that is united to the craftsman, and this fountain is the prolific cause of souls, but at a slight distance. The craftsman is the father of psychical generation. The mixing bowl is the mother. The mixture is swirled by the craftsman, swirled circularly. There are two circulations, the circle of the same and the circle of difference. The craftsman's circulation of the same arranges and adorns the circulation of the different. These circles are the antecedently existing causes of similitude and dissimilitude in the order. The circles move, they swirl about the axis that extends right down through the poles of the cosmos, but that which is moved in a confused and disordered manner is circularly led to order and bound by the craftsman's reasons. It's assimilated to natures which always subsist with invariable sameness and permanency, but that which is in a certain sense limited also has its dissolution. For that which is allotted a perpetual bond must also be said to be perpetually dissolved, for dissolution is conjoined with every bond. There are 4 forms of madness that are superior to sanity: prophecy, ritual, the inspiration of the muses, and inspired love. I'll give you those again. Prophecy, ritual, inspiration of the muses, and inspired love are forms of madness superior to sanity. Such madness is in fact possession by the muses and is given to a gentle and innocent soul from above. Art is there to awaken the soul and rouse it to Bacchic madness, a madness that is divinely inspired movement, an unwearying dance around the divine that brings to perfection those who are possessed. True artists should create with a raving mouth. Their works are just one part of a token that's torn in half. It can be fitted back together again to establish that the party holding each half is who they claim to be. Then the soul, in its highest state, calls forth from the gods a response whereby they extend their half of the token. This is the recipient's credential for divine checking. Now life-bearing fire descends into material things through a channel. This also allows the soul to go back up the channel from which it is descended. Ritual action and sacred words help in this. Here there is a madness that is greater than self-control. The artist breathes like other humans, but thinks differently. Thinks in communion with something or someone other than they. But, and this is fortunate for us, the artist can speak to us in our own language, a human language, unlike the serpent, who speaks to us in a language that's godlike and ineffable. Let's hear the artist speak. There's always the right time of the work to reveal itself. My experience has taught me, if you have to force it, it's not ready. Let the work dictate the time it has to be shown, and all things converge. It is the knowledge of a work method which one has built up over years. For instance, when to put aside something, leave it so you can contemplate the idea or beginning of a possibility, or when to distract yourself so that you don't overwork or ruin what's on the surface, or simply fooling yourself by juggling with snippets of ideas and keeping them all in the air at once, or knowing when not to work, being frightened of an idea, leaving it near at hand so you can sneak up on it, pounce on it. We artists have developed the most crazy systems to get work created. Describing the process only reduces it, as it's of absolutely no value to anyone until the thing is actually made, completed, done. You see, we are always working, and the stopping points are those moments when we've decided to rest and present some offering to the gods. I am set the task to think about my work in the context of landscape. It's proving interesting and difficult to pin down. Perhaps I have no land. The cosmic poem and the mixing bowl are indelibly linked to this text, the one that's over there that I'll ask you please to take a copy. Here there is a whole that ebbs and flows and are part and parcel of the whole process of creation. This room with its bowls and paintings and the serpent's dust and the text extend beyond the confines of this space into the cosmos as a whole. These are all one, essentially the same, old and begotten. Thank you.